everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Mastermind Grind. Pumped to have you guys here today and excited to share some stuff that's been on my mind lately. And today I'm going to be focusing on the topic of networking. That word sucks. Let's just throw that out there. I think about 95% of America gets a bad taste in their mouth when they hear the word networking, unless you're in sales or you're the ultimate extrovert. But I want to talk about networking in a totally different light and in a way that I think it should be approached, but oftentimes, unfortunately, is not. And instead of thinking of networking, as the room full of fast talkers who are seeing how many cards they can pass out and how many people's information they can get and follow up with right afterwards to see how that person can help them. No, I think that is kind of where networking gets a bad rep. And I'm not saying that those people aren't out there, because they are, and they're out there in hordes, as a matter of fact. But I think that is the wrong strategy if you really want to be very effective with networking. Yeah, those people might be going into those quote-unquote networking events and happy hours and things like that and just dominating the room. But I don't think that those are the people who walk away from events with the biggest advantage, with the best relationships, and really taking the most out of those situations. I think the better way to frame networking is to think of it more as just focusing on building new friendships. Because I don't know about you, but the whole purpose for me of networking is really to create new friendships, to find people that if I can help them in one way or another, I'll be there to do that for them. And hopefully it works the reverse way as well, not expecting anything out of that new friendship, that new relationship. But when you do need something from them, it would be great if they were there to help you as a friend would be. Because if you think about those people close to you, you're not afraid to ask them for a favor or afraid to give them a call to see if they know of anybody that can help you with something that you're working on. So if you think of it from that perspective, it's not quite as corny trying to quote unquote network. And I guess to back it up a step, the reason that this topic is on my mind at the time is because I'm currently reading a book called Never Eat Alone by Keith Ferrazzi. And that's really the topic of the book, but he puts it in such a beautiful and eloquent way. He talks about it much more from this place that I'm talking about of building meaningful friendships and relationships that nobody's keeping score. Nobody's seeing what they can get out of that. They're just trying to bring relationships into their life that may or may not help them down the road, but will be a great person to know and a great person to have in their quote-unquote network. So I want to give you guys 3 simple points that I'm taking away from this book. And number 1 is don't keep score, as I mentioned. And what that means is not keeping track of what you're doing for something with an expectation that they in turn are going to do something for you. That's not what true friendships are about. And really think about the best relationships you have in your life, the best friendships. I guarantee you're not keeping score in those. And if you are, maybe rethink your strategy of how you can stop keeping score and just seeing what you can do for that person and watch that relationship flourish. So that's number 1. Number 2, build it before you need it. God forbid you find yourself in a situation where you've lost your job or you're really in a tight spot and you need something from somebody else, or you don't know who you need it from, but you just want to have a group of supportive people around you who might have a solution to the issue that you're facing. Well, then it's a little too late to start networking at that point. If you say, for example, it is finding a job or trying to find new clients or anything of the sorts, if you wait till you need it to start networking, to start trying to bring those people who could help you into your life, you're going to be behind the 8 ball. You're going to be too far away from where you need to be. But if you already have those people in your life, if you already have a relationship and a friendship with somebody who might be able to score you that next interview, or who might know somebody who's looking for a service that you're offering, etc., it becomes a heck of a lot easier to find that person or to ping that person and see how they can be of service if you've already built that friendship, that relationship. And number 3, ping all the time. And this is one that I really am trying to get better about in my life. Constantly, we're meeting new people. We are sparking, that initial phase of a new relationship where you hit it off with somebody, or you have a great conversation, or even somebody who you had a great relationship, a great friendship with, maybe somebody back in college or high school that you've fallen out of touch with. The key to maintaining these relationships and keeping them healthy is to continuously ping these people. And that doesn't have to be some big grand gesture. It could be as simple as, writing on their Facebook wall, dropping them a text, shooting them a call every couple of months, just touching base to see how they're doing, reminding them that you're there, see if there's anything you can do for them. If you read an article that reminds you of that person, or you think what that person would find interesting, shoot it over to them, send them an email and just say, hey, saw this article, thinking of you, hope all is well. It's really not something that has to be all that complicated, but it'll do wonders for nurturing those relationships to make sure you don't lose touch. I know this is an area that I'm for sure guilty of having fantastic relationships that, because they're not at the forefront of my mind, I haven't done a great job in the past of continuing to be there for those people and nurturing those relationships and just being a good friend, as it all goes back to. And so if you make a conscious effort of doing that and continuing to ping those people and just keeping them in your life, that'll do wonders for that relationship. And like I mentioned, it doesn't have to be anything big. It just has to be something as a reminder that you're still there, that you still care. So those are the 3 things from Keith Ferrazzi's book, Never Eat Alone. 1, don't keep score. Nobody needs that. 2, build it before you need it. You'll want to have that building put in place before it starts raining. You want a rooftop on it. And 3, ping all the time. Always be pinging, y'all. So I hope that helps to reframe the concept of networking in your mind. If you needed that, you may have already read Keith's book. You may already have this down pat, but I just found that extremely enlightening and pretty inspiring as a way to just spend a few minutes to reach out to some friends and people within my network that I want to become better friends with and have better relationships with. So moving forward through the end of the week, into the weekend, maybe just think of, once a day how you can touch base with somebody that you haven't in a while and feed that relationship so that it doesn't dwindle, that it doesn't fall to the wayside. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Mastermind Grind. We'll have another great episode for you next week. And until then, keep on keeping on.